Hey Talf amigos, Captain Stick here. Flying alongside the legendary Captain Yoke, and remember, Talfabot is always at your service for quick bites of info. So let's dig into this whole airplane food thing.
Right.
Why does it always taste so different? You know what I mean?
It's a question for the ages.
It really is. And we've got some research here that breaks down like the actual science of what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really pretty fascinating. So
It's not just bad chefs up there.
no, it's way more than that. It's like the whole airplane environment is like conspiring against your taste buds.
Yeah.
Okay, so think about this. You're all settled in your seat, excited for that in-flight meal, right?
Right.
And then bam, it's like a culinary turbulence.
Mhm.
One of the biggest things is that crazy dry air in the cabin.
That's a desert up there.
It's so dry. We're talking 12% humidity. That's drier than a desert.
And you know that dryness? It really messes with your sense of smell. And smell is like a huge part of how we taste things.
It's true. Have you ever noticed like your nose feels all stuffy on a plane?
Oh, all the time.
That's that dry air messing with your ability to smell. And if you can't smell as well, you can't taste as well either.
Exactly. You're not getting those subtle flavors.
It's like trying to enjoy a fancy wine with a stuffy nose. It's just not the same.
Totally.
And get this, the research actually shows that our sensitivity to sweet and salty drops by like 30% when we're up in the air.
Yeah, that's why they tend to over-season everything.
It's like they're trying to compensate.
Yeah.
So that's why those little bags of pretzels, they always seem extra salty.
Right.
But here's where it gets kind of interesting. While sweet and salty take a hit, sour, bitter, and spicy, those flavors are less affected. So maybe that's why people love tomato juice on flights.
Ah, yes. The Bloody Mary effect.
Right. Like suddenly it's the most appealing thing on the menu.
Maybe.
But wait, there's another thing that messes with our taste buds up there. That constant noise from the engines. It's not just background noise. It's like 85 decibels. That's like standing on a busy city street.
Yeah, and studies show that kind of noise actually reduces our ability to taste sweet and salty even more.
So it's like a double whammy for those flavors.
Right.
But here's a weird twist. Loud noise makes us more sensitive to crunchy textures.
That's interesting.
I know. So those pretzels and chips, they might actually taste better because of the noise. Right.
Yeah.
But hold on, doesn't noise also affect umami? That savory, meaty flavor?
You're right. It does. Studies have actually found that umami is enhanced by that airplane noise.
So maybe that's why that Bloody Mary tastes so good. Or that cup of beef broth.
It all makes sense now.
Right. It's like this weird symphony of the senses happening up there.
Yeah.
But it's not just the dry air and the loud noise that affect the food itself.
Yeah.
It's also the crazy journey those meals take from the kitchen to our tray tables.
It's a long road.
It really is. It's like a logistical nightmare.
They often prepare those meals hours before takeoff. Then they chill them, store them, and then finally reheat them in those tiny airplane ovens.
I've always wondered about that.
It's a whole process, and it can really mess with the texture and the flavor.
You know, like when you get that chicken breast and it's dry as a bone.
Yeah, or those salads that look like they've seen better days.
Exactly. It's like the veggies get soggy, the meat gets rubbery. It's like a culinary obstacle course.
It really is.
And I'm convinced those little packets of sauce are there to try to hide the dryness.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But sometimes it just makes everything mushy and even worse.
It's a tough balance to strike.
It really is.
Yeah.
But there is some hope on the horizon. Some airlines are starting to use fancier cooking techniques, like sous vide,
Oh, yeah.
where they seal the food in these special bags and cook it slowly in a water bath.
It helps lock in the moisture and flavor.
Exactly. Even after all that chilling and reheating.
Yeah.
So maybe there's hope for decent airplane veggies after all. But even if the food itself was magically delicious, there's one more thing that can make or break the whole experience. Those flimsy plastic forks and knives they give us in economy. How are you supposed to enjoy a meal with those things? It's like they're designed to make the food taste worse.
And you know, the material we eat with can actually affect how we perceive the flavor. Even the type of cup or glass can change how the aromas and flavors hit our senses.
It's no wonder those meals in business and first class seem so much better. They get real plates, metal, cutlery, proper glassware.
It's a whole different experience.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like they're actually trying to make the food taste good.
And those meals are often specifically designed for the airplane environment. They even test them in simulations to make sure they taste good at altitude.
Wow, that's serious dedication to in-flight dining.
They go all out.
They do. But here's the thing. It's not just the food that's different up in the air. We are too.
That's true. We're not our usual selves when we fly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We tend to be tired, and fatigue can definitely mess with our senses.
Yeah, it makes it harder to appreciate even a good meal.
And then there's that whole time zone thing. Eating at odd hours because of those long flights. It throws off our bodies.
Our internal clocks get all messed up.
And it can affect how much we enjoy the food.
Absolutely. Our digestion and appetite are all linked to those rhythms.
And let's not forget the pre-flight jitters. Anxiety can totally suppress your appetite and affect your sense of taste.
It's like our whole system is working against us when it comes to airplane food.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like a multi-sensory conspiracy.
But there's a whole psychological side to this airplane food thing too.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, there's this thing called the expectation effect. Like if you think something's going to be bad,
Yeah.
chances are it will be, even if it's not actually that terrible.
Oh, yeah. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Like when you hear a movie is awful and you watch it, you're like already looking for the bad stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's another piece of this that I think is super interesting. The whole ritual of dining and how it changes when we're up in the air. Okay, so think about like a normal dinner out. You pick a restaurant, you look at a menu, you get excited about what you're going to order, right?
Yeah.
There's a sense of like control and choice.
Yeah.
But on a plane, the meal is chosen for you.
You get what you get.
Exactly. And you're supposed to be happy with it.
And you're eating on this tiny tray with barely any space and maybe trying to watch a movie at the same time.
Right. It's not exactly relaxing.
It's so chaotic.
And that lack of control, the cramped space, the whole unfamiliar routine, it all adds up to like a less than ideal dining experience.
Even if the food was good,
Yeah.
the whole ritual is just off.
Right.
So we're fighting not just the science of how we taste, but the whole psychology of eating in a pressurized cube hurtling through the sky.
It's a lot to overcome.
It really is.
But despite all that, there are people who actually like airplane food.
Really?
Yeah. And I think it comes down to individual differences.
Oh, yeah. One person's trash is another person's treasure, right?
Mhm.
Like those people who love cilantro, even though it tastes like soap to me.
Exactly. Our tastes are shaped by so many things. Our genes, our culture, our experiences.
What one person finds bland, another might find comforting.
And don't forget about nostalgia.
Oh, yeah. Like those little packs of pretzels.
Yeah.
They taste way better when you're on vacation.
It's because we associate them with positive memories. The excitement of new adventures.
Like a Pavlovian response to the sound of the seatbelt sign.
Maybe.
And you know what? Well, in the early days of flying, airplane food was a luxury.
Really?
Yeah. It was like a symbol of progress and sophistication. People got dressed up for flights. They had multi-course meals on real china.
Wow. That's so different from today.
I know. It was a whole event. Part of me wishes we could go back to that, even if it means wearing a suit on the plane.
Maybe not the suit. But I agree. I think there's something to be said for making air travel special again. Even if the food isn't gourmet. Maybe we can make the whole experience more enjoyable.
Like what if they dimmed the lights, played some music, maybe even offered a choice of tablecloth?
There are definitely some airlines out there trying to up their game. We talked about some of the innovations earlier, like those umami-rich recipes and the simulated low-pressure cooking.
Oh, yeah. And those fancy meals they have in first class.
Right. But for those stuck in economy, it's about managing expectations and finding ways to make it a little bit better.
Like packing your own snacks, staying hydrated, maybe bringing noise-canceling headphones.
It's about taking control of your own little food haven up there. And maybe, just maybe, as airlines keep experimenting, we'll see a future where airplane food is something we look forward to, not just something we tolerate.
I'm hopeful. But in the meantime, I think we can all appreciate just how complex this whole thing is.
It's more than just a meal. It's a story about science, psychology, history.
And maybe a little bit of magic, too.
Maybe.
The next time you're up in the air, remember, there's a lot going on behind that tray of food.
It's a whole experience.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of in-flight dining. Until next time, happy travels and bon appetit.